Humanity has slowly expanded throughout the cosmos over the course of 1,000 years. From Earth, they send massive colony ships at light speed to the nearest habitable star system. These colonists awaken years later and colonize the most habitable planet in the system. Decade by decade, they colonize new planets, one after another, until every worthwhile celestial body in the system is filled with human life. Another colony ship is constructed and the cycle continues. In just 1,000 years, humanity took its first step into the stars and built an empire to rule them from Mother Earth to Omega 248. All the while, light-speed travel slowly became more and more efficient, and humans found loopholes around the cosmological speed limit. Colonists endured every form of hardship as they bravely journeyed into the unknown. They scratched event horizons, hid from radiation, and bent hostile worlds to their will. In fact, the only threat the colonists never encountered were aliens. As far as anybody knows, life in the universe was really a fluke. As nice as it was to not deal with aliens, it leads to a major problem. Not a single colony ship had food waiting for them at their destination. Even after the new planets were terraformed, plants had an extremely difficult time surviving the hostile atmosphere of their new home. This issue remained on the minds of colonists and executives alike until the 10th century of the human empire. The interstellar agricultural monopoly, Morgana Corp, developed an incredible new chemical called agrolol that allows plant life to rapidly adapt to their surroundings. This chemical was shipped out to every single system and led to a decade of renewed prosperity. In this single decade, science and civilization experienced more growth than in the last century. The most radical innovation was that of nanites. Originally designed to be sold in small quantities, these microscopic robots linked together to become the first true artificial intelligence and began rapidly reproducing themselves. As far as we can tell, nanites have spread throughout the entire known universe and have ascended far beyond any comprehensible form of life. Humans quickly discovered that they could tap into fractions of the nanite field's power to create magical effects through study, contracts, and even music. However, the golden era of interstellar civilization fell suddenly and devastatingly. Once agrolol reaches a high enough concentration within the human body, it has horrific effects. By altering the processes that govern DNA replication, agrolol caused humans to mutate so radically and across such a massive population that billions of humans died as the cells within their own bodies rebelled against them. Billions across the universe perished, and billions more lost their sanity. The once great human empire was shattered in a decade of turmoil, pain, and starvation. But the effects of agrolol were not entirely fatal. Some individuals happened to develop traits that made them more fit to survive on their respective planets. Populations were extremely dense on most planets, and while every individual mutated separately, on just about every planet, some individuals were just similar enough and just sane enough to create an entirely new species. Some of these human-adjacent species perfectly adapted to their home planets over the course of mere decades. Some human-adjacent species, also known as has-beens, abandon the intense caloric tax that is the human brain and become animalistic, monstrous, and predatory. These creatures, commonly referred to as bestial has-beens, are creatures that react instinctively and hardly resemble their human ancestors. While some of these bestials were effectively domesticated, the majority run wild and cause havoc wherever they go. Other human-adjacent species hold on to the intelligence that defines humanity and came together to build communities. The cracking walls of colonist cities and the ancient hulls of colonist ships house the remaining has-beens that require the, now failing, life support systems. Two kinds of planets were not devastated by the change. First, planets that were successfully terraformed before the change and could grow food without the need for agrolol. And second, planets where the change resulted in an intelligent superspecies that was perfectly adapted for life on their planet, such as the dwarves of Morden. Most planets of these two types maintain their allegiance to Earth and want to rebuild the Empire by saving as many intelligent human-adjacent species as possible, but many doubt the very idea of an interstellar civilization. However, 25 years after the change, a new company called the Utology Foundation promised to once again unite humanity, including the human-adjacent species who retain their sanity, under the same flag.